Hey guys, it's Frank from Altcoin Buzz, and today we have some exciting news. Ethereum 2.0 on track for November launch, according to one Ethereum 2.0 developer. So we're going to go over the ins and outs of this news. We're going to have a look at the chart to see what happened the last time we had major Ethereum 2.0 news and see what that might mean for the price moving forward. Then of course we'll go over these exciting Ethereum price predictions. Two analysts here make a price prediction very similar to the one that I made in a video prior. People will think that it's crazy, but I'll explain to you why in the long term it's very realistic, very level-headed even, to expect these types of prices. We are going to have a look at Google Trends for Ethereum versus Bitcoin. Ethereum is gaining in popularity quite significantly compared to Bitcoin. And finally, we're going to have a look at this article on Cointelegraph where Framework's Michael Anderson says that Ethereum is where DeFi will continue to be. If you enjoy this content and want to see more of it, don't forget to subscribe, like, and hit that notification button as it really helps to support the channel. Before I get started, I just want to let you know that I am not a financial advisor and that trading and investing presents financial risks. All right, so before we get started, just let me know, how was your weekend? How have your weeks been? Have you been staying up to date with the crypto news? Have you been yield farming? Have you been adding to your low cap positions? Let me know down in the comments below. But all right, getting started today with Ethereum 2.0 on track for November launch, says developer. So Ethereum 2.0 is the next generation of the popular blockchain. Now, I was thinking about how popular it actually is, and naturally the most popular blockchain is Bitcoin. So I decided to have a look at Google Trends to compare the two and see if I could come up with any interesting numbers. So this is over the past 12 months. And if you look at this period between September 2019 and December 2019, Ethereum's popularity in terms of its search volume is at about 3 over here. And Bitcoin's popularity hovered between about 40 and 50, let's call that 45. So we have Ethereum at 3 and Bitcoin at 45. But if we now go over just the past 90 days, remember we had Ethereum at 3 in terms of its all-time interest, Bitcoin at 45. And over the past 90 days, you can see that interest in Ethereum basically doubled, right? We were averaging around 3, then Ethereum started averaging between 5 and 6, while Bitcoin was actually remaining steady. This was in this whole June to July period. Then, of course, we had a big spike where Bitcoin went to 100 and Ethereum actually pretty much tripled to 14 over here. But more interestingly, recently, Ethereum, look, these numbers, Ethereum has been ranging between 8 and sort of 14, basically averaging out around 10, while Bitcoin is still averaging at a similar range at about 55. So what that means is that the relative growth in interest in Ethereum is much larger than the relative growth in interest in Bitcoin, despite Bitcoin, of course, still being much more interesting for the main crowd. But really, if you're in this space, if you're part of the 1% or less than 1% of the world that sort of actively follows this space, I think you have every right to be very excited about Ethereum, given DeFi, given yield farming, given Uniswap, given all of these things which are going on the Ethereum network. I think there's every right to be very excited about what's happening next. And of course, now we have Ethereum 2.0 getting closer to the launch. So let's go over this article. So in brief, Ethereum 2.0 is on track for November launch. That's according to one of the developers building an ETH 2.0 client. Nonetheless, there are a couple of things that still need to be done. So this is news which is according to Raul Jordan, who is an Ethereum 2.0 developer with Ethereum infrastructure builder Prysmatic Lab. Now, I just want to take a second to give a shout out to Prysmatic Lab. They are building a more fair, open, and censorship-resistant internet. And I think that, we often talk about price and all this stuff, but really, these are the people building it, They're embracing open source. Our work is free, open source, and accessible everywhere. We believe in empowering developers to build a more fair and transparent internet. I mean, for me, this is what drew me to this space, is these people just really wanting to build a better, fairer future for everyone in the world. So big shout out to Prysmatic Labs for helping to make this happen. But in any case, Raul Jordan saying that November is still looking good for a launch from our perspective. So Ethereum 2.0, the main upgrade to the Ethereum blockchain, can't come soon enough. The current Ethereum blockchain supports around 14 transactions per second. And just to put that into perspective, Visa supports 1,700 transactions per second. So you can see Ethereum is a long way away from that. The network utilization is at 97%, and of course the average cost of an Ethereum transaction is on a record streak, as all of you know. Now, Vitalik Buterin says that the new version of the blockchain will eventually increase the transaction speeds to 100,000 per second. Now, this won't happen in this coming launch because the November launch, you must know, is the phase 0 launch. It's not the phase 1.5. So according to a user here on Reddit, phase 0, which launches in November, will include staking. So we will have staking in November, of course, according to Raoul Jordan. Now, we'll see later in the article some other Ethereum developers are not quite as bullish about this timeline. But it's worthy to note here by Frank Costello, guy has the same name as me. It should be emphasized, this is just the first phase, the launch of the beacon chain. It won't affect Ethereum main network until phase 1.5. In any case, Vitalik Buterin, co-founder of Ethereum, claims that the new version of the blockchain will eventually increase transaction speeds to 100,000 per second. So that's from 14 to 100,000. Now, he says this will happen eventually. So, it could be a while before that happens. Again, as mentioned, November is only the beacon chain launch. It doesn't involve the full Ethereum 2.0, but nonetheless, this is a step in the right direction. And of course, for those of you who don't know, Ethereum 2.0 will move the blockchain from an energy-intensive proof-of-work blockchain to a proof-of-stake one. So, of course, Bitcoin is proof-of-work and very energy-intensive. It's one of Bitcoin's criticisms, and Ethereum aims to go to proof-of-stake, which won't require this energy. But now, unfortunately here, Ethereum 2.0 has been in the works for years and has been beset by delay after delay. So the timeline for a November launch is ambitious, according to the Ethereum Foundation researcher Justin Drake from July. Drake said that a January 2021 launch is more likely, though Buterin and other Ethereum researchers have disputed this. It's worthy to note that these statements were made in July, whereas Raoul Jordan is making this statement now in September, so it's possible that there's more information or that there have been further progress since then. And for those of you who didn't know, currently Ethereum 2.0 is in its Medalla testnet, a public network created by the Ethereum Foundation that acts as a sandbox before the mainnet. So of course we covered this when it came out. This was big news. On July 21st, they announced a date for the testnet launch, and this date was August 4th. So again, on July 21st, they said, we're going to have the Medalla testnet on August 4th. So have a look at what happened in the charts. This first blue line represents the day when they announced that they would have this testnet, and this second blue line represents when the testnet actually came out. So we saw a pretty phenomenal 73% move up. We went all the way from $235 to a high of about $412. And this was just in anticipation of the testnet. Now, it's only natural for one to speculate how this new November launch will potentially affect price. There's a few key differences between this news cycle and the previous one. First of all, the previous one only lasted 2 weeks, all right? So there was this announcement on the 21st of July, and then for 2 weeks, basically people were very excited for the testnet about to launch. This time we have basically it could be 2.5 months. So it's a much longer time period. And, it's possible that the price will continually rise over those 2.5 months. But over a 2.5 month period, you will, of course, have retracements. So it's unlikely that we will have such a vertical move as we did over this 2-week period. And the other thing, of course, is that we don't have a precise date in November. But it's quite possible that, similarly to how they announced the August 4th launch on July 21st, that they will do something similar in sometime in November and that we will see another big run-up then. I personally don't think that this will trigger a big run-up from the current price. I think that, we would have to have a more specific date, maybe confirmation from Vitalik Buterin or the Ethereum Foundation, but this is definitely good news for Ethereum. Now, for public transparency, the team has published a checklist of tasks that need completing to launch Ethereum 2.0 mainnet. Now, I'm not going to read out all these tasks, it's very technical, but they say the best way to track progress over the next 3 months is by following the development team's public checklist. So the great thing about open source code is that you can see everything which is being done. So here is the public checklist on github.com. And if you scroll to the right here, you can see this section which says done. So here, of course, you can see all the tasks which are being done as and when they're being done. Pretty cool if you ask me. Now, before we get on to the $9,000 Ethereum price prediction, I want to show you here Framework's Michael Anderson, who says that Ethereum is where DeFi will continue to be. So following the collapse of initial coin offerings, venture capital became the primary funding source for cryptocurrency projects. So for those of you who didn't know, initial coin offerings faced a lot of legal issues. A lot of these projects got shut down by the SEC and got sued and all that. So this is why venture capital took over after that. In any case, a slew of crypto-native funds such as Framework Ventures, which was co-founded by Michael Anderson and Vance Spencer, arose. So Framework Ventures very impressively has made several investments, notably into Chainlink's token and Synthetix SNX token. I'm not quite sure how early they got in, but I assume it was pretty early. And they correctly predicted that Compound's token incentive scheme would not be the last, and in fact they arguably popularized the term yield farming. So this is a very interesting article. I suggest you to read it. It's a very great interview. They have obviously deep insight into the DeFi space. I'm just going to read this last part, which I think is the most interesting part. Here, the question from Cointelegraph: Ethereum's gas fees suggest that the network is reaching its maximum load. Do you think outsider projects can see some resurgence because of Ethereum's woes? Now, he does go over some detail about Polkadot and some other bridges to Ethereum, but this is the conclusion. I actually am betting on layer 2 taking away a lot more of the mainnet core issues sooner than the bridges will be enabled. So these are the bridges between the Ethereum network and, for example, the Polkadot network. And we mentioned this in a previous video, how Ethereum 2.0 is just one of the solutions. There's a whole army of these layer 2 scaling solutions which are trying to make Ethereum transactions cheaper and faster. So it's not like we just have Ethereum 2.0. There's a lot of projects, a lot of people working on this, and it's just a matter of time before we have these significantly faster and cheaper transactions. And he says, I still think that Ethereum is where DeFi will happen. I think that there will be new ways of creating DeFi that Ethereum wouldn't be able to, but I do think the Ethereum is where DeFi is going to continue to be. And I tend to share this opinion. You know, it's very easy to get excited about these other blockchains when Ethereum transaction fees are so high. But the fact of the matter is that creating the kind of network effect which Ethereum had does not happen overnight. So these other projects will have to be very fast in terms of creating that network effect. And if they don't do it very quickly, then Ethereum, I think, will be the leader for the foreseeable future. Now, what would a crypto video be without a juicy Ethereum price prediction? Now, this article goes over the basics of Ethereum. Ethereum, of course, is a cryptocurrency protocol that's vastly different from Bitcoin, Litecoin, or other payment technologies, giving it additional value and potential. Now, Ethereum projected growth as a network is also high, as the blockchain is not only used for smart contracts and transactions, but actual crypto assets are often built on Ethereum's blockchain, giving it added value as speculation around the future of the crypto market is positive. So they talk about what Ethereum is. Now, Ethereum in 2020, here they talk about the ICO boom in 2017, how the price skyrocketed from under $1 to $1,448. But then as the regulators began to crack down on ICOs, Ethereum's price unfortunately fell too. But now, as they say, however, by far the biggest potential for Ethereum is, number one, the upcoming Ethereum 2.0 update, which will be over the next several months and likely year or two even, and the massive growth of decentralized finance. So, you know, we've had a small pop in the bubble of DeFi. We've seen a lot of projects lose a lot of value as Bitcoin retraced. But this is by no means over, if you ask me. I think that this DeFi thing is, I mean, everyone who's in the crypto space, who's been here for the last few months, who's been following the news, knows that this is just the beginning of DeFi, all right? So very exciting things to come for Ethereum. And as I've said before, I have more Ethereum than I have Bitcoin in my portfolio right now. I do think that the growth potential for Ethereum is larger than for Bitcoin. Now, Ethereum experts see strong future potential in Ethereum. Here we have a very prescient prediction by Skew Analytics, cryptocurrency and blockchain analytics firm. So remember, this article was written back in March, but since they're making these long-term predictions, it seems still newsworthy. So according to Skew's asset maturity projection metrics, the analytics firm expects the price per Ethereum token to reach over $480 in 2020. Now, very interestingly enough, the price reached a high of $488 in September 1st, 2020. And again, this article was written in March, so very impressive prediction there. Although, of course, 2020 is not over, and we might even see a higher price than that. But here, of course, is the big prediction. Simon Dedek, co-founder of BlockFire and managing partner of Moonrock Capital. So BlockFire published these great reports about cryptocurrencies, giving you the outline of the fundamentals. I've personally read a few of them. Good stuff. So this venture capitalist and blockchain investor sees a bright long-term future for Ethereum and estimates the asset could someday be worth as much as $9,000 per Ethereum token. He also sees Bitcoin at $150,000 and Link at $200. Now, I made a video a few days back, actually it was about a couple weeks ago, where I said Ethereum could reach $10,000, and I gave an outline of how that could happen. Basically, I said that if Bitcoin reaches $100,000 and Ethereum reaches its previous all-time high of 30% dominance, then it's very possible that Ethereum would reach a price of $10,000. So Simon Dedek here is not far off compared to my prediction of 10,000. He reckons $9,000 per token. And guys, in the end, like in the long term, Ethereum can easily get to that price. It's really just a matter of when, if you ask me. Then we have James Todaro here, managing partner at Blocktown Capital, also sees Ethereum at $9,000 per token, saying that Ethereum will reach a $1 trillion market cap due to the surge in decentralized finance. And this $1 trillion market cap would imply $9,000 per coin. So guys, some people in the comments of the video said, oh, it's ridiculous, you have to be level-headed, you can't just expect it to go to $10,000, but that's really myopic thinking. Like, you have to think long-term. If you look long-term at the charts, these things are going up parabolically, they're going up exponentially. It's very easy to say, okay, in the short term that's impossible, and it's true because you can see what's happening over the last few months. But if you zoom out and look at the charts, you see these epic moves. As I mentioned in my previous video, Ethereum went up by about 25,000%. Like, these moves are not uncommon in Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. This is normal. So, it might sound crazy now, but as I said also before in the video, humans consistently underestimate what they can achieve long term and overestimate what they can achieve short term. So in the long term, I think these prices, as crazy as they sound right now, are very, very realistic. All right, guys, but that's been it from me for today. Let me know what price you think Ethereum will reach. Let me know if you've bought any more Ethereum or if you're waiting for a new dump. Now, Ethereum price, of course, we are right now in a bear flag. Unfortunately, we had this move down. Now, hopefully we don't break the $350 level. If we do, then, we will test previous lows, most likely of $310, or maybe even at the worst case scenario, come down to $250. I will certainly be a big buyer if we get to these levels. But it's worthy to note that none of this might happen and we just might see another big move up from here. But anyway, let me know if you're buying Ethereum now. Are you just buying some every month when you get your salary? Just curious to know and start a conversation with you guys. All right, so with that being said, I will see you in the next one.